are running ahead of schedule. We're having our first military coming through the customs barrier as we speak. We're going to go down to the floor camera now if we can, just to see as the next troops come through. The customs has pretty much waived all their requirements, and the guys are coming through one at a time to salutes, to hugs, kisses, and a lot of tears. We're going to just watch the scene unfold here. The plane came in at just about 7 o'clock, right on time as we had anticipated, and they're going to be coming in apparently a little bit later on today, as we expected them to come in off and on throughout the day. Apparently the very next flight's going to be at 12:30 now, we understand, but that may be updated, so we'll let you know. We have a barricade here at the D.C. hangar where the folks have to go from in back being checked by the military police in the back, a real quick customs check, and then they're being allowed through the customs barrier to be reunited with their families. And I believe that Ed Walsh is on the floor right now. And Ed, take it away.
I love it.
And Shelby, after 6.5 months, what are your feelings today?
I'm ecstatic. I'm so glad he's home.
Oh, it must have been. How long did you know you were coming back?
We were told about 3 days ago that we were going to be leaving, and we finally got out. Well, it'll be yesterday, our time over there. So we left Saturday morning. We've been flying for about 30 hours, off, between flying and ground time.
It must have been the longest 3 days in your life.
Yes, it was. Definitely was.
Shelley, what were some of the preparations you've made for Ralph's return? Well, I got him a cake, and I started getting balloons and just getting the house ready. Get his favorite foods.
And kids, and what is your reaction to have Daddy home?
Fine. Fine.
Ralph, Shelby, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sue, back to you.
Thanks, Ed. It's quite a scene here. It is a very emotional scene. We've got maybe 300 or 400 people who came out so early in the morning to see their loved ones, and some of them don't even have friends or relatives coming in. They're just in to show their support to these guys who have put in, some of them 7 months, some a little shorter than that, but all did their part over at Desert Storm. And we hope to be getting some more interviews. In fact, I think Sarah Dyer is just about set to go here with another family. We're going to go back down onto the floor. Sarah?
Hi, we're here with Michael and Mary Burgess, senior airman. Michael Burgess, tell us, how are you to be home?
It's great. It's great.
What, you came here and found a big surprise in your wife's arms, a 6-week-old baby boy.
That's right.
Yeah? You hadn't seen him before, pictures
nope.
or anything?
Well, pictures, yes. I did get to see, she sent me some pictures.
Yeah. How are you feeling, Mary? Excited. Excited. What will be the first thing you guys will do? You'll go home, and it's an emotional time, I know.
Just get to know each other again. Get to know my son.
How long have you been gone?
7 months.
7 months. What have you missed the most, Mary? Him. Just him. What do you want to do once you get home and settle down? Hold him. How is it going to be readjusting to stateside life again?
I don't think it'll be too hard.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, anything else you want to tell us about your trip overseas? How long was the flight?
About 30 hours. Pretty tough.
That wears you out for sure.
Yeah.
Mary, what's been the biggest hardship for you while he was gone? Him not seeing his son, being with me when I had him. Having the baby on your own. But you have a good family support network? Yeah, we do. Yeah. Well, Michael, welcome home. We're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Back to you, Sue.
Thanks, Sarah. We have some dignitaries down on the floor as well. Senator Cohen was here last night to honor the color guard, who's also made an appearance here today and is saluting each man, by the way, as they come through the door. Senator Cohen stayed overnight because of this event and is here to make sure that he's welcoming home the troops as well. Let's just take a look at some of the sights and sounds. We'll go to some pictures on the floor and let the pictures do the talking.
Hi.
If we could swing down toward the door here so that we can see them as they're down.
That would be great. We're going to do Senator Cohen, and then we're going to... Hi, I'm standing here now with Senator Cohen. Senator Cohen, what are your feelings today when you see these crews returning after being away from their families for about 7 months?
Well, obviously it's a very emotional moment for everyone here, but especially for the families who've been left behind. There must have been tremendous anxiety and frustration, and it's all being relieved right here, and you're seeing in the faces of all these people. It's just a wonderful experience. Wonderful experience.
Do you think it was easier for these troops? They did have the entire support of Congress before being involved in the Persian Gulf War. Do you think it might be easier for them to come home now?
No question about it. We did a tremendous disservice to the Vietnam veterans. They did not have the support of the American public. The country was divided, and they essentially were repudiated when they came home after putting their lives on the line. These troops have had it easier in the sense that they knew the country was behind them, and there was never any doubt about that from the time that commitment was made. And so we've got a lot to be proud of. They've made us very proud. American pride has been restored, and we owe a great deal not only to these veterans now, but also to the Vietnam veterans who lent their support as well.
Senator Cohen, thank you very much. Sue, back to you.
Okay, thanks very much. I'm looking at some really emotional scenes down here. It seems that words are not even needed at this point. As each man comes walking through the door, and I think we do have a shot of people coming through the door there, if we could see that for a minute. As each one comes through, you're noticing that they're all being saluted and huge hugs. These guys had better be ready to keep their ground, because there's going to be some hugging and kissing going on here for a while. We want to thank, first of all, our sponsors for letting us come here today. We're going to be staying with this live as they walk through 104. We understand 100 who are going to be coming through on this flight, plus, of course, the crew. As it stands now, it appears that the next flight's only going to be here at 12:30, and the B-52 is coming in sometime shortly after that. I believe that we're ready with another interview down on the floor. We're going to send this down to Sarah, if she's ready. Let's just take some pictures until Sarah's all set. Okay, Sarah, go right ahead.
Feeling about the military, or being patriotic and being American?
I already was, but yes.
Already was. Do you think that the morale is higher than you've ever seen it before?
Yes, I do.
And how was your experience overseas?
Lonely.
How did you cope with it?
Right, well, whatever I could.
What kind of things did you get from home?
My mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my mom, and my wife. I get packages like every week.
Clothes?
Big packages, clothes, food, real food.
And what kind of things did you send? You sent clothes?
I sent clothes, I sent tapes, I sent food, I sent anything that I thought that would make him feel more like he was home.
Toys.
Toys.
What was the atmosphere there? And tell us where you were deployed.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed that or not.
It's unclassified now.
It's unclassified?
I was on Diego Garcia.
Okay, and what was the weather like there?
95 every day, rained every other day, torrential rain.
Torrential rains, but do you mind coming home to the 2-foot snow?
No, not a bit.
Not a bit? Well, welcome home. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right, Sue, back to you.
Thanks, Sarah. A hero's welcome for each one of these men as they come through, and as you look down onto the floor, an unbelievable amount of red, white, and blue. Everyone's seeing their guys. By the way, they're coming off the plane fairly tan, and they're coming out into a snowstorm here today, and it looks like the snow's not going to be letting up now until like Monday night, I think, so they're going to get their fair share of home real soon. We're going to stick with this scene here. Oh boy, it's hard to find a dry eye in the place. As each man comes off, the families are there to see them down. There's flowers, yellow flowers, a lot of yellow ribbons here today too. On top of the red, white, and blue, a lot of yellow goes along with this. As I say, we're going to be staying with this program until all the men come through, and we're going to be getting a few more interviews here in just a minute or so. But let's just take a look as everyone gets their salute as they come through the door. If we can get a shot of the door. Mike, please. I'm not sure you can get it, but you got the rest of it. There's lots and lots of music going on here too, all kinds of real patriotic music to welcome these guys home. And now we're going to go down to Ed Walsh on the floor, where I believe he has another family just recently reunited. Ed?
Sue, I'm here on the floor with Senior Airman Stacy Croxton and her husband Ronald. Now, Stacy was deployed in Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm and came home to her 18-month-old daughter and her husband. Stacy, how does it feel to be back on American soil?
Oh, it feels great. It's good to see him. I left her when she was a baby. Now she's a little girl.
And when did you find out that you were going to be one of the first to arrive back to Loring?
Thursday.
And that must have been a long wait till...
Yeah, it was. Extremely. They kept changing their minds when an airplane was going to come in. So today and tomorrow. And then they finally said, well, they're going to be here Saturday. So finally, everybody was so glad.
What was the morale like on the plane coming in?
Everybody was ecstatic, right? They couldn't wait to get home.
And Ronald, what are your feelings this morning?
Glad it's finally over with.
Did you have a hard time trying to get in touch with Stacy while she was serving in Operation Desert Storm and Desert Shield?
Just the mail was so slow sometimes. Sometimes it would take up to 3 weeks to hear from her. But other than that, it was pretty good most of the time.
And you all must be glad to be home and reunited.
Yeah.
Thank you both for being with us this morning. Sue, back to you.
Thanks very much, Ed. I'm looking in the back over this barricade here. You may wonder why I'm up on a platform. The reason is because they're separating the crowd from the military people before they come through because Customs needs a check. There's still a few more people to trickle through here, but we had first anticipated that Customs was going to take at least an hour before they let anybody come through. Now it seems that they had their checks on board the plane, and all they have to do is show their papers and then walk through the barricade one at a time. And again, each one being saluted and greeted just one at a time rather than letting a whole bunch of them through. I'm looking over the barrier, as I said, and I noticed that there are some dogs here taking a look through the baggage, and all the bags are lined up, real military style here. Everything is very organized. And as I say, the dogs are going through the bags just to make sure that there's no contraband and everything there. Everything's very well set up ahead of time. The work has been going on here ever since we've heard that they were coming home. And that's what I would say. And the DC hangar has been decked out ever since that time to make sure that these guys get the proper welcome home. I'm looking around at all the different signs, and you notice that there's songs, by the way, in the background to welcome them home as well. Signs that say, "Welcome home, Storm Warriors," from the 42nd SBF. We've got, of course, the 69 BMS all over the place, and people giving a lot of welcomes as we go. And I notice that Sarah Dyer is down on the floor right now, and I think she's going to be ready to speak to Colonel Jorgensen. Sarah, we're ready for you.
Tell us what kind of ride they're taking back.
On the airplane about 24 hours. They made one stop in Rhine-Main, Germany, and then they came straight on over to Loring this morning.
And is this like a regular passenger plane? Would we recognize it?
Well, something like a regular passenger plane, except we don't have windows. There are passenger seats in it, but they weren't able to look out as you would on a normal passenger airplane.
A lot of the men are telling us they were stationed at Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. That's quite a ways away from where the conflict was, but our B-52 bombers from Loring played a key role in this conflict, didn't they?
I believe they did.
So did the tankers.
And all our aircraft from Loring played a key role. Many people were at Diego Garcia. Many people were at other locations throughout the area. These folks that are returning today are coming back in from Diego.
And we'll hear from the B-52 bomb crews and tanker crews later on today, hopefully.
We have right now scheduled 6 B-52s to return today from over there, so we're expecting them this afternoon, probably starting about 2 o'clock.
Okay, thank you very much, Colonel Jorgensen. Sue, we'll toss it back to you.
Thanks very much, Sarah. It's real noisy up here. I'm even having a hard time to hear our programming because of all the people, and gosh only knows what that was back there. Oh, we got some waves and stuff. I hope you're getting some of these shots from the back there. These are the guys that still have some, I guess, still have some baggage to pick up. They're tossing their hats in the air. I think they're waiting for some baggage. They might be coming through real quick. What a scene it is. When I told you a while ago that there might be 300-400 people here, that number has swollen quite dramatically. People who have and who don't have family members coming in, they're still coming in. Flash cameras going off all over the place to record this moment. It's a pretty special day here, no doubt about it. Tears all over the place, smiles everywhere you go. It's an incredible sight. Red, white, and blue, lots and lots of yellow, and just the best welcome home, and I think that everyone appreciates a happy ending. And this may be one of the very best happy endings this country's ever experienced, and one of the nicest for our community as well. If we could just have some pictures now around the floor so that we can capture the sounds. I think we've got the Limestone High School band back there playing for everybody in their orange and black. And they're going to keep this up for a while. There's some refreshments being taken around here. Oh, by the way, we're not the only television crews here. We've got live crews from Bangor and from Portland up here to record this event. It's just a very, very exciting time. And I think we're going to be ready for another interview here fairly quickly. But until then, I wonder if we might already have the pictures now. We did send out a photographer earlier this morning to get shots as the planes came in. And I see another big crew down there, and I'm not sure if that's another lot of people who are going to be coming in or not. It's been kind of confusing here. There's a board in the back that describes when the planes are coming in, and that's been changing as we've been looking at it. The last check that we had said that the first plane was coming in at 7 o'clock, as they did, and then at 12:30 is supposed to be the next one, and I think that's what it still says. A little tough to tell from here. The DC hangar's a real big place, folks, and it's filled. It's kind of tough to see the forest for the trees here. But let's just take a shot of some pictures here. I see that one of our cameras there, one of the real tall cameras, will show some good things if we can take a look at that for a moment while we figure out if we have some more videotape to show you. Just take a look. I notice now that Sarah Dyer's back down on the floor, and I believe she has an interview ready for us. Sarah?
So we have about 125-30 men coming off each plane right now, and they're going through customs before they can come out and see their family. With me now is Lieutenant Colonel Britt Sturdy. He's with the Loring Security Police, and he's going to tell us exactly what the men are going through there in customs.
As soon as they get off the airplane, or before they get off the airplane, they're briefed on what they need to do so we can expedite these folks to get them in and reunited with their families. We get them, we meet them at the airplane. What they need to do is a quick ID check with immigration. Then they go through customs, and then we have a little packet with personnel that they get. And I would like to say that U.S. Customs has cooperated 100%, and it's just great.
So how long of a wait is it from the time they get off the plane until they can see their family?
Well, this one was just about a half hour at most. Maybe even not that long.
And how intensive a search through their baggage? I mean, will they be able to bring back some souvenirs from where they've been, or will that be very stringent?
Well, it depends upon the type of souvenir it is. Obviously, T-shirts and placards and things like that is. Other things which are normal contraband they can't bring back. But the locations that they've been, and our folks have done very well and are abiding by the rules that they're supposed to, and so it's going super.
And has it been a spot check, or is it every person's checked?
Well, every person is checked. We have the military working dogs. Obviously, they go through every person's bag, both their hand-carried baggage and then their luggage. So every piece of baggage is checked.
All right, it's going smoothly.
Oh, absolutely. Great support from everybody.
Thank you, Colonel Sturdy.
Thank you.
And we'll give you a picture looking over the crowd. It looks like there's about 200 or so people here, maybe even more, and I'm sure there will be as the day goes on, as more planes continue to land. And we're hearing that another plane may be landing. We can't confirm that for you right now. We will try right now. So we'll toss it back to Sue while I try and find out if that is, in fact, another plane landing right now.
The full overview here, 200 maybe what she can see, but I'll tell you what, she's stuck in a huge crowd. This is a much bigger crowd than that. She can't see all the way back. It's quite an incredible sight here. And people are kind of waiting to see what the next move is, whether or not another plane is coming in or not. And I guess those are kind of changing as the wind blows, literally, whether or not they're getting a tailwind or not, if they're going to be able to get in here. There are a lot of signs. Welcome home, I mean, big signs. Welcome home to the hydraulic troops. Welcome home, David. I mean, it gets very, very personal, and then it tries to sweep over a pretty large area. United, and I'm watching from clear in the back here. Some of them are not hanging around too darn long. They're ready to go back home and see what home is like after they've been away for so long. That seems to be the biggest thing. But there's still some milling around down here, and we're going to try to get some pictures of that for you. They're going to be here for a little while. Refreshments are being served. They can stay and chit-chat as long as they want to, and I think there's a lot of just getting to know yous all over again, and that's kind of neat to see here too. But I'm sure that most of these guys are ready to hit home and grab their bags and go. The bags, by the way, I'm still looking at them. They're still lined up there, and the dogs are still going through them one by one. It might be a little while before they get that, but I have a feeling that's not going to be one of their big priorities. It's just getting on home. Lots and lots of kids here today. They're making the welcome real special. Those are the ones that are hanging on to most of the signs and making this a real special event. I think that we've got some videotape, or we should have some videotape by now, of the planes that came in at 7 o'clock. We're going to try to get that to you now if we can. And there I see it as it's taxiing in now. This is a C-141 and carrying, as we said, about 110 or so people, including the crew, on each one. These are the planes, by the way, that are bringing in other personnel all day today. They're bringing them in to just get refueled and maybe get them a snack or so before they head on their way to whatever bases across the country. But this plane that you're seeing right now is the one that brought in the Loring crews this morning, touching down at just about 7 o'clock. From the time that these guys landed, they had a little bit of a bus ride to come here to the D.C. hangar. No one was there to greet them. At least families are not there to greet them as they got off the plane, because they needed to keep them separate for customs reasons, again, as we described to you. Off the plane and onto a bus for a short bus ride here to the D.C. hangar. And most of them were carrying in only their real personal items. The rest of it was brought in by valets, we understand. They had a whole unit that took care of bringing in all their bags, so they didn't have to worry about any of that. Valet service for them to bring in all their stuff, and I guess this is going to be probably delivered to them if it takes any amount of time. I'm noticing a whole contingent going back on through, and I'm wondering what this is all about. I don't even dare hazard a guess why they're going back, but a lot of these guys in uniform are going back through the barricade onto the customs side. Not really sure what that's all about yet, but we're trying to find out. I can see Ed Walsh down there trying to figure out what's going on. Still lots of hellos and people milling around. It's quite a scene. The D.C. hangar's huge, but not big enough to hold on to all the emotion here today. Emotion's been building for about 7 months or so, and now it's kind of being released right here in this building. I think we're ready to go on to the floor. Ed Walsh is down there ready for an interview. Ed?
Sue, we've just found out why they're all going back behind the curtain. They're all going back to pick up their baggage, which has been checked by customs and cleared. I guess they must have let them through, held on their baggage so they could come out and meet their families, and now they're all going back to pick it up after it's been cleared. Sue?
So much for the valet service idea, I guess. That pretty much took care of that. They're going back to get their bags, folks, and I think that we can probably take a picture of this, Mike, if you would. Yeah, they're going back through the barricade. They'll be picking up their bags and then coming back through, and I guess that's going to be the point where they're going to finally get to go home. I'm not sure if you can see. Oh, we're going back to the landing here, I guess, and they're going to be boarding. You're going to be seeing them boarding the plane, boarding the bus. That is, excuse me. They're getting off the plane onto the bus, and again, this happened at about 7 o'clock, almost an hour ago now. They allowed our television cameras down there with the military escort so that we could go get these pictures to you. Again, planes like this have been coming through Loring and will continue to come through Loring for the next several days. These are C-141s bringing crews back to their home bases all across the country, stopping here for refueling and just a brief rest. And this will continue for a while, we understand. We're back at the scene now, where these military folks who just came through were allowed to go get their baggage, and they're coming back through this barricade. If you notice, as you're looking at this picture, you're going to notice the red, white, and blue balloons if you have a color TV set. They've also set up some palm trees here, I guess, to remind them of their home away from home. their classified location, but we do understand that that was Diego Garcia, and I guess that's all right to report now that they're home. No problem there. And, yeah, the palm trees may remind them of Diego Garcia, but I think they're real happy to be home in the snow of northern Maine. And certainly these families are awful happy to see him. There's flash cubes going off here because I think they want to kind of capture the moment as they walk through with their baggage, welcoming these guys home. The music in the background, again, from the Loring High School band, welcoming them. And I believe we're ready for another interview on the floor. Let's send it back down to Ed Walsh.
Hello, we're here with two Natalies, Natalie Plord and Natalie Boutot, and they're both waiting for Tim Smith, who is in maintenance, working in maintenance overseas, and he's supposed to be on this next flight, and so what, we're anxious here?
Very anxious. Very.
Yeah. Okay, well tell me, what have you guys been doing to prepare for his homecoming?
Just hoping, not really much, but just praying. We're going to plan a big party, there's no doubt about that.
You guys came down from Fort Kent today?
Fort Kent, that's right, that's right.
And so what will you be doing with your boyfriend when he comes home? You plan something?
On vacation.
Any plans for where?
Pennsylvania, visit his parents, hopefully. So the weather isn't too bad. So.
How have you been coping with a family and loved one overseas?
We have a lot of support at work and stuff. Everyone, we all talk about it. We just really, that's the only way to deal with it, I guess, is to talk about it. And cry a lot, too. Yeah, family's there, and his parents are there, and friends and everything, so it's great support.
How often have you heard from him?
I got letters just about every 2 weeks, and a few phone calls, so...
Yeah. Did you get nervous when the hot and heavy conflict really started?
Yeah, I pretty nervous. Went to work and talk about shaky, so, but...
Well, hang in there, you two. He's going to be here any minute. All right, back to you, Sue.
I guess we're back here. We're getting a whole new round of applause as these guys walk through the gate, even though they've already walked through once before. The applause is going on and on. It's going to be kind of a long day of applause and kisses and hugs, and probably that's all that's going to be going on today, I think. We're going to be going at 8 o'clock to Souls Harbor. We're going to be running that programming at 8 o'clock, and then whenever another plane comes in, we will be coming back live to you so that you won't miss much of anything. I think we're ready to go back down onto the floor now, this time really with Ed Walsh. Ed?
Thanks a lot, Sue. We're here now with Tech Sergeant Leland Hagaki and his wife Candy and his 5-year-old daughter Ginny and 7-year-old son David. Leland, how does it feel to be back on American soil this morning?
Oh, it feels great. It feels like it's a dream right now.
Now, from what I understand, you've been gone for about 8.5 months and you've missed both of your children's birthdays.
Yep, and my wife's birthday too. Plus Christmas and Thanksgiving, and it was a long time.
Candy, what are your thoughts this morning?
It's not going to be real till he's sitting in the house with the dog jumping all over him and the kids screaming and yelling and the tickle fights and everything. Then it'll be real.
Any future plans, what you're going to do? He's going to take a short vacation or?
Probably take about a week's leave and...
Little cabin in Upper Michigan in the UP.
Yeah. Get to know my family again.
Well, welcome home, and Candy and Leland, thank you very much for being with us this morning. Back to you.
Okay, thanks very much. As I say, we're going to be rejoining our programming at 8 o'clock with Souls Harbor, and then breaking into programming throughout the day as events warrant here. We've seen a lot here this morning, and whether or not you're here, I hope that you've been able to pick up on some of the emotion, some of the excitement that's going on here at the D.C. hangar. The public is invited to attend, by the way, to come here and kind of rest at the D.C. hangar until the next flight comes in, whenever that may be. At this point, again, it looks like it's going to be 12:30, but you're welcome to come early. The gate will be open, and there are signs to direct you to the D.C. hangar. We want to take a moment to thank all the people from Loring Air Force Base who made this possible for us here today. They helped us set up our equipment, get in here on time, talk to all the officials that need be, and help to make this broadcast possible. And we certainly want to thank all the Loring Air Force officials who helped to make that happen. I believe that we're just about ready to go back now to live programming and for Souls Harbor, and again, we're going to break in as events warrant. So hang with us throughout the day, and we'll close with some pictures and some music. Thanks for being with us.
Is brought to you by
Live, I'm Tom Hellick. Back to you, Bill.
Very good, Tom. Thanks very much. It is indeed a happy day at Loring this morning as those hundreds of troops return. As Tom told us, we will be with this story all morning, and we'll have a complete report also at noon today, so we hope to see you then. In the meanwhile, I'm Bill Connor. Have a great morning.
This has been a News Center special report. Stay with News Center for updates. We return now to regular programming.
Lined up early this morning, right here, right a few feet away from the palm-lined gate where they're trying to see the first glimpse of their loved ones. Joining me now is the McEntee family from Westfield. They were here at 6 o'clock this morning. They're looking for their son, who was one of the first deployed almost 6 months ago. His name is Ray McEntee Jr., and he is an Airman First Class and electronics specialist on B-52s. Ray Sr. is his father. Ray, what are your feelings this morning?
Oh, I'm very proud of the boys, and let me tell you, my spirits are real high, and I sure missing him, and I'm welcoming him home.
He probably can't wait to see you either.
Oh, I believe that, because he called me 2 or 3 times, and he was down, but I'm going to see him this time.
When was the last time you talked to your son, Ray?
August the 20th. I was the one that took the call from the base for him to report to go.
So it's been almost 6 months since you've talked to him.
Right. It's been 6 months anyway. Yeah.
Barbara, there has to be a concern, always the mother's concern that their son is away from home. What are your feelings this morning?
Well, thank God they're back, and thank George Bush, President Bush, and all the military, and for all the people that helped.
Any home-cooked meals that Ray asked for?
Whoopie pies.
All right, and Sherry McEntee, his sister, is also with us this morning. Sherry, what are your feelings to see your brother after 6 months?
Can't wait to go skidooing with him, and just glad he's coming home so he's safe.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you when your son does come through that door. For now, we're going to go back to Sue up in the crow's nest with more. Sue?
Thanks very much, Ed. And we're going to be watching just in back of me is where the military will be arriving from a door just in the back. And as they come through that door, we hope to be able to get that picture out to the folks here on this side of the barrier. And that should be coming up pretty quickly here. The anticipation is rising. We have a swollen crowd right now. Once again, it kind of waned back there just a little while ago. But as soon as everyone heard the changes, and then everyone started rushing back to the D.C. hangar, waiting for their loved ones to come back. Lots of flags, lots of yellow ribbons, and just a lot of emotion peaking at this point. I think we're ready now for another interview down with Sarah on the floor. Sarah?
We're here with Colonel Elvin Jorgensen. He's Vice Wing Commander of the base. Tell us, how many people exactly will be coming back today?
We're estimating somewhere between 500 and 600 people.
And what is the total number of deployed Loring personnel?
Right now, we've got about 11 to 1,200 people that were gone, and of course we got the first 100 and something back today, so we're looking forward to the rest of them.
So they were deployed over a period of time. It wasn't all in one shot?
Initially under Desert Shield, which was the initial kickoff, we deployed about 900 people, and then after Desert Storm kicked off, we upped that to about 1,100 people.
And they have gone to various places?
Virtually every area involved with Desert Storm operations, to include the Saudi Arabian Peninsula.
What will Loring's post-war involvement be?
Well, I think initially we'll go back to what we were doing before. That was primarily sea control with mining and harpooning, and of course bombing operations, getting ourselves trained to continue to do that too.
Sue mentioned earlier the schedule of B-52s that will be returning later. Can you give us, we're seeing 6 that will arrive today into the late wee hours of the morning. What's the rest of the schedule? We're looking for about 14 more B-52s to come in throughout the week, Tuesday through Thursday. About 6 on Tuesday, 6 on Wednesday, and about 2 on Thursday. And so what's the total number of... With the 6 that we're getting today, we'll have 20 on base. Not all of them belong to us, and they'll eventually go to other bases in the command. We should have somewhere between 16 and 18 that'll eventually stay here. And is that the total number we had to start with? Yeah, that was about what we had when we deployed back in August. And what about the tankers? Tankers right now, of course, are going to be involved for quite a period of time as we bring the troops back. And, of course, they will remain, many of them will remain deployed in Europe and some at other locations throughout the Mediterranean to facilitate the aircraft coming back. And, of course, the C-141 transport planes will continue bringing troops back that are just stopping over here, going to bases all over the country?
That's correct. We anticipate for at least about a 3-month period that we could very well be having throughputing 141 aircraft.
Okay, thank you very much, Colonel. And also with us is Connie Burke, Wing Commander's wife. And why is this kind of celebration or reunion so important?
Well, most of these people here have had their spouses gone for 7 months, and it's important to celebrate that these guys have done a job, had a very important job to do. They've done it very well, and they're home, and everybody gets their life back in order, and we're just ready to get on with everything.
And of course, you won't see your husband today. He won't be returning with the troops today?
To my knowledge, he won't be. I read in the paper that he would be, but nobody's told me that yet, so I don't think he's coming home today.
When was the last time you heard from him?
Well, I got 3 letters yesterday, and they were written prior to any of this redeployment, before they had any knowledge of it. So he didn't mention it, and I have not talked to him since a week ago Friday, so he didn't know anything about it when I talked to him.
So it could be a month or so, you say?
I would hope that he'll be in within the week. I don't think that he'll stay until the very last person comes off of the island, but he will be among the last probably to come home.
He just the troops at Diego Garcia.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Throw it back up to Sue.
Okay, thanks very much, Sarah. And we're kind of keeping our eye on what's going on behind this big crowd in front of me to what's in back of me, and that is the door in the lower left-hand corner here of the D.C. hangar as we await the arrival of the second C-141 passengers. Just to go over what we do expect for the B-52s this afternoon, we expect 1 flight to be coming in, 1 plane to be coming in at 1:03 this afternoon. 2 planes should be coming in at 3:57, almost 4 o'clock. 3:57, 2 planes should be coming in. Then again at 4:56, we expect three planes to be coming in. Of course, each plane carries 6 crew members, and so it might be a smaller crowd, but who knows? I know a lot of people out here in this crowd don't necessarily have family or friends coming in, but they just want to be here to show their support, and that's what this whole day has been about. A lot of support, a lot of congratulations for a job well done on both sides, really, people who were there and the military who had to stay back home and do the support from this end. They get to come together here today and get together one more time, congratulate each other, and get back into one huge group. And in the background, we're hearing lots of military music and inspiring music going on behind us. Earlier today, we had the Limestone High School band playing for us. Right now, we're still just waiting and anticipating, and the crowd's watching me because I'm one of the only ones who can see over the barrier to see when they're coming. You can see this crowd is just really getting big here. In case you weren't here earlier, I was describing to you what it looks like at the front of this, where the military people do walk through the barricade. Not only have they festooned in red, white, and blue, but they've also put up some palm trees to kind of remind them of where they've been and the work that they've done in Diego Garcia and other places where they've been deployed throughout these past 7 months. The anticipation's rising here. I think that we're ready for another interview on the floor as far as I know. I think we'll send it back on down to the floor.
Do we have an interview?
We're just going to take a look at what's going on down on the floor. The color guard's getting arranged, and our camera person is down there close up on them as they make their preparations for the first crews to come through. And I'm noticing that in the back, I think I see what looks like an open door and a bus. We're going to be getting that shot for you sometime real soon. But first, we're going to just take a look at what's going on down on the floor. We're going to let you take a look at the sights and sounds here. Now you're looking over the barricade. You notice that it's empty on this side, but it won't be for very long because I think I see some movement down by the door. Just as soon as these guys walk through, and here they come, loop it up. Here they come. They're starting to walk through now. And the people on this side of the barrier can take a look at their monitors and see the guys as they walk through. Now, The men on the other side that have just walked through the door, they have no idea what awaits them on the other side of this barrier, except that they can hear the crowd. They're not taking the time to take a look at the television monitors we have set up back out there for them. They could actually take a look, if they wanted to, and take a look at their loved ones on this side of the barrier, but they are moving through customs very quickly, and they're about to walk through the barrier. There's still some people to be filtered in through here. We have a number of them still coming through the door, so we're going to stay with this scene. Very little to have to explain here. A salute for every person walking through the door. And still a few more to trickle in. What a happy ending. Each troop is being announced as they come through this barrier so that their families can come forward and receive them in the proper way. Salutes all around. We're not half done yet, folks. I see some more people coming through the door. I think we're going to break just for a moment and go down to the floor where Sarah Dyer, I think, is all set to have an interview. Sarah?
We're still greeting lots of people coming up, and we'll try and get a reaction for you as soon as one comes around. It's kind of hectic right now, but we will certainly try and... Here come a few more, so we'll try and get a reaction. We can move over to him a little bit. He's
Hi.
Good to be home?
Oh, it's great.
couldn't wait to get back.
Was it a long ride?
Yeah, we had about 27 hours all together with layovers and everything.
You're probably real tired.
Not too bad. Glad to be home though.
How do you think this experience has changed you? Did you think about it on the way home?
We had a lot of time to think about things like that. It's just good that President Bush sticks with things, and he did a great job. I want to congratulate him, and the guys that were over there did a great job too.
Has it changed you emotionally? Obviously, it affected you emotionally.
Yes, it did. A lot more patriotism and a lot more get up and go. Sure helped a lot.
What do you think you'll miss the most from Diego Garcia?
Warm weather.
Good to have you home.
Thanks.
All right.
As you can see, it's pretty much pandemonium down there. This crowd has swollen to a good 400 or 500 people at least, and this is going to continue as the guys are still coming in from the back. There's at least 106, we understand, 106 people coming off this C-141. We expect 1, 2, 3, 4 more flights before tomorrow morning, I should say. In fact, the next one should be arriving at about 12:30 this afternoon. After that, the next one, there's quite a pause. The next one will be coming in at midnight unless plans change. After that, the next flight, this will be the 5th C-141 of Loring Air Force Base cruise at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then finally at 3:15 this afternoon. As I mentioned to you before, each and every Loring Air Force Base crewman is having their name announced as they walk through the barrier here, hoping that their families can find them through this huge crowd. And now I think we'll go down to see Ed down on the floor.
So we're down here with Tech Sergeant Philip Harris. Actually, Tech Sergeant Harris is not coming home to anyone. He didn't have a chance to contact his wife to let him know that he was coming home today, so she's out in Minnesota.
That's correct.
What are your feelings of being here today?
It's great to be home, that's all I can say. We missed the snow, we're back to playing it. We went over, did what we needed to do, we're home now and just want to get back in the routine and get back with our families.
Now, what were your duties while you were stationed over there?
I worked on B-52Gs on the flight line. We launched and recovered them, sent them out and delivered what we needed to deliver, and they came home safe.
During the entire bombing raids on Baghdad, how was the morale of the crews of the B-52s?
Very high, very high. We were ready the whole time. Everybody was elated that everything went so well.
And on the welcome, what are your feelings?
It's great. It's fantastic. I love it.
Tech Sergeant Harris, we'll let you go call your wife and let her know that you're home.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Sue, back to you.
Thanks, Ed. We're being blown away a little bit in here. We have one of the big doors opened up to bring in a lot of the cargo that these planes are also carrying, men and cargo. There's still a few more that have to come through. I can see that, and we're waiting for each and every one of them. We're going to see them all come through. Again, the next plane that we have scheduled coming in, and changes are being made all the time. The next one that we understand is going to be made is at 12:30. What you're seeing now is in back of the barricade, the customs officials need to check everyone who goes through. It's really kind of a cursory check, though, because they have done their 100% checks aboard the plane, and all they really need to do now is hand in some papers before they walk through. And then through the barriers they're coming now, fast and furious. It seems like this we've been waiting for months. And I think we're ready to go back down on the floor now, where Sarah Dyer has an interview ready.
Airman Edgar Ramos, welcome home.
Thank you, thank you.
Tell us, what was your job overseas?
Bomb build-up, and just made them up, got everything done that was supposed to be done, and they went to the flight line, and from there they did their job.
Were there things written on the bombs? We heard back home that there were names of towns and even loved ones written on some of the bombs. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. People wrote their mother's name and even their sisters, little brothers, whatnot, and just put them on the bomb and said, present from the family, and here it is.
Wow. So tell us, what are you going to miss the most about your overseas experience? Or what did you learn from it? Was there anything else besides in your military capacity?
Not too much, you know. Just how to learn how to live with 7 or 8 other guys in the tent. And,
camaraderie.
Yeah. And it wasn't too bad, though. It was okay. It wasn't too bad.
Tell us really quickly, you don't have family here greeting you today because why?
They're back home in Philadelphia. I just got stationed here.
So will you take a vacation real quickly here?
Yes, I sure will if I can.
Okay. Glad to have you home. Thank you very much. Sue?
Now at the crowd that's assembled here, and they've been here since real early this morning. Some of them came in at about 6 o'clock. We understand the communications between the families and the base has been pretty tight, though. They're able to contact families and let them know which flight, first flight, second flight, or third flight their person is coming home on, and so they are getting up to the minute calls, I guess you should say, but whenever they're called to come out, they come out right away, and they may have to sit here and wait a while. But all around the DC hangar, they have refreshments for people, entertainment for people. I believe there's some playpens set up to take care of the children who have had to wait a long time. But all that waiting is certainly worth it when you see scenes like this. We want to be sure to thank Loring Air Force Base officials for making it possible for us to be here today and for cooperating, helping us get prime positions with our cameras so that we can bring you scenes like this. They've been extraordinarily cooperative, and we really appreciate that. Earlier today, Senator Bill Cohen was on hand to greet the first group of Loring Air Force Base people here. The first plane came in at 6:57 this morning, and there were many changes before that happened. Not sure if it was going to be coming in earlier or later, but apparently the weather is wreaking some havoc up there, and so we're not real sure when all these flights are coming in, but we'll try to keep as close in touch with you as we can to let you know when the next flights are going to be in. Now I believe we're ready on the floor for Ed with an interview. Ed?
Sue, there are more tears on this floor than I've ever seen before. There's families here greeting each other. Joining me now is Tech Sergeant Gary Porter and his wife Mary. How long have you been away from your family?
Well, I was lucky. It was only 2.5 months for me. Some of these guys have gone for 6 months. And I'm happy to be back, and they're even happier, I'll tell you that right now. The only thing we think about right now is the few people that were left there. And but hopefully they'll be back within the week.
And Mary, how does it feel to have them home?
Oh, great. Today's my birthday. It's a good birthday present.
Can't top that. Can't top that. Any special thing planned now that you're back? Relax. Thank you both very much. Sue, back to you.
Very much, Ed. Thanks very much, Ed. What you're seeing now are the scenes of the baggage handlers back there, and in fine Air Force fashion, everything is running real smoothly, as you can see. The crew themselves, the people who are coming in on the planes, they are not being asked to take care of all of their gear. They're just dropping it off here, and then a detail unit of valets back there are lining everything up, getting ready for the military dogs to take a look through this, sniff through it. Everyone who just came off the plane will be expected to wait here in the DC hangar until the baggage check is complete, and then they go back through the customs barrier, pick it up, and they can be on their way home with their family. Of course, that's what they've all been waiting for, but the initial hellos and hugs and kisses are being done as we speak, and it's a really festive atmosphere here. You know, despite all the tears, everyone's happy. You can see that. The kids are laughing, and you notice there's an airman there with some flowers. There's lots of flowers going around, too. Flowers for the guys for a change, and well-deserved. And I believe that Sarah is ready with an interview on the floor. We'll go back down to Sarah.
We have unconfirmed reports that there was a slight engine problem with the last plane. That's why it arrived late. Also, the weather played a minor factor. With me is Staff Sergeant Rodney Boschel, and he's with the Loring weather forecasting system. Tell us, what's the weather looking like for the rest of the planes coming in today?
Right now it looks to be pretty good. The weather in Germany looks to be good. However, anything after about 2 in the morning Germany time looks like another weather system will be moving into that area with rain and fog. So anything after 2 in the morning Germany time looks like there could be a weather problem in Germany.
Oh, all of these flights, they're taking off from Germany. All the Loring crews are taking off from Germany. Just want to clarify that.
Yes.
And we have flights scheduled for the next one, 12:30, midnight, 1 a.m., 3:15, and then B-52 flights are also scheduled for this afternoon, starting at about 1 o'clock. So that may have changed, Sue. I don't know if you can give us an updated time or not. Back to you.
Sarah. No, that is still the information that we have, is that the first B-52 will be coming in at about 1:03 this afternoon, and we will be here to show you that live. Just a couple of minutes ago, you were able to see the second C-141 coming in. We had someone out there on the flight line taking pictures for you. And again, families are to a bus. They're brought back here to the D.C. hangar for a short trip, and then brought in, first of all, to let the customs people take a look at what they need to take a look at, and then off here to all the awaiting families. In back of me now, they've got, didn't take them long, they've got all the different, all their military gear lined up there waiting for the military dogs to take a walk through and sniff whatever it is they have to sniff back there, and then they're going to be allowed to take all their gear and go home. So they've made their connections, it looks like, back here. No one's walking around idle, that's for sure. Even the single people who didn't have anyone here necessarily to meet them, who were friends and family. There's almost, I'm not sure if it's a committee or if it's just spontaneous, but everyone who walked through this barrier had somebody there to greet them, that's for sure. And they got a full military briefing. Military hello, I should say. It's kind of loud here in the background. They've got music going on, announcements going on, so that everybody can know what's to come next. They also have a board back here that they're changing, updating all the time to let people know when the next flights are. But as far as we know right now, the next one should be coming in, and this, by the way, will be the third C-141, will be coming in at 12:30 this afternoon. And we will probably break away fairly shortly, and then we'll be rejoining and letting you know, first of all, any updates that might happen, but being back here shortly before 12:30 to make sure to get you all the excitement of all the returns here. Of course, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do all of the flights coming in. They're going to be coming in right through midnight tonight and through the wee hours of the morning. What does seem unfortunate is that there's not going to be this big a crowd probably for every plane that comes in, but I know that the hangar is going to be open for people to be coming into this area, even in the wee hours of the morning, to greet the crews coming back. But we are going to keep right with them. Certainly we'll be here through the afternoon, and then what you don't see live we'll be picking up for you so that you'll see it on the newscast on Monday night. So you won't be missing very much, if anything at all. I believe that Ed is pretty much ready for an interview now. We'll go down on the floor. Ed?
Sue, I'm here right now with Sergeant Dave Nelson, his wife Debbie, and his daughter Katie, and his newborn son Josh, also who's being held by Sharon Flamans, and Sergeant Tim Pate. Now they were together during Operation Desert Storm. What are your feelings this morning, Dave?
I'm just happy to be home. It's great to be back.
Is this the first time you've seen your son?
Yes, it is. Except for pictures my wife sent me. First time being home with him.
How old's your son?
It's about 3 months right now.
What's the first thing you want to do?
Go home and be with the family. Just play with my kids and be with my wife.
Thank you very much. And also, as we said, joining us is Sergeant Tim Pate. Tim, what are your feelings to be back on American soil?
Awesome. Really great. After 7 months over there, nothing feels better. Nothing at all. It wasn't always easy and wasn't always fun, but we did it and we're home and we're glad to be here.
Tim, what was your main duty being over there?
We worked on the defensive fire control system, the B-52 aircraft, which, you know, played an integral role in the thing, which is we worked on the tail gunner's equipment. We made sure when he landed, before he took off, again, he had a good system.
And what about the morale on the people on board the C-141 as it was making its approach?
It was unbelievable. Same as when we took off from where we were and when we landed. Everybody went crazy and the little white pillows were flying. We had the biggest pillow fight you ever seen. It was great. Great to be home.
Tim, thank you very much. Thank you all for being with us this morning. Sue, back to you.
Thanks very much, Ed. We're going to show you some pictures. The military people are going back through the barricade now. It didn't take very long. They're going back down through to pick up their baggage on the other side of this customs barrier that they have set up. Once again, the customs barrier is set up so that nothing would be breached customs-wise. They have to go through all the checks before they can be reunited with their families. And apparently what happened back last fall when a number of military people came back for a short time, they had a gate up, and children who were very anxious to see their moms and dads saw them through the gate, ran through it, and then the customs line was breached and they had to do a 100% check, and that took 4 or 5 hours and held up everybody. So this time they decided to put up a barricade that no one could see through. This is a full wall that no one can see back through, except us we're overhead. This is about a 6-foot barricade, and we're up a little higher than that so that you can take a look over the barricade. And this way, now that they can't see each other, they get everything done and then come through the barricade and are announced in fine fashion. Now you're taking a look at everyone going to find their bags, pick them up, and finally go home. I understand now that we do have our tape ready to show you of this second C-141 flight that came in at about 10:20, and here they are coming off the plane to the watchful eyes of television cameras, all that were allowed out there on the flight line. A number of pool of television cameras went out to the flight line to watch as all the military came off the plane. From the plane, they went on to a bus, an awaiting bus, for a real short trip over here to the DC hangar. You can only imagine what the scene was on board the plane before they got off. A pillow fight, I understand. Now, I understand these guys came in from Germany, and before that, most of them Diego Garcia. What a change in temperature here, coming out from a lot of them with suntans, by the way. You can't really tell from this footage, but when they come in here, they're pretty tan. And now they're coming back to the snow of northern Maine, and it looks like nothing could be more beautiful to them if you take a look at the smiles on their faces. This was recorded back at 10:20, as I said, when the second flight came in. Lots of changes in times. We had first understood they'd be in at 10:05. Then that was changed. It looked like the weather was pretty bad to 11:10, and then they finally ended up getting them in. Must have looked for a real quick break in the weather and got them in at 10:20, so only 15 minutes late. Not so bad after such a long, long ride. Kind of letting the pictures do the talking here. Nothing you can really say to describe the emotion of the moment. These guys are happy to be back. I think the families are just ecstatic. They're probably all exhausted. I'm sure there was a lot of anticipation from overnight, a lot of people not being able to sleep and waiting for this day. You're back looking live now at the DC hangar, and all the folks beginning, if you notice, some of them are walking to the left of the screen. They have their bags already, and they're headed out ready to go home. And here they are coming back through the barrier. They've got their baggage. Still got some clearing out to do out back. Not everybody's had a chance to go through yet, so it's going to be a few minutes. And I think we're going to go back down onto the floor now for Sarah. Sarah Dyer.
Welcome back, Staff Sergeant Ken Crosser. Tell us, how does it feel to be back?
Oh, relieved, happy. I mean, it's great to be back. Being away from the family, being away from my daughter.
You had a big change or surprise when you came home.
Oh, yeah.
Something changed?
Oh, yeah.
Or grew, huh?
Oh, grew. Yeah, she didn't have that much hair when I left. She wasn't walking, and supposedly right now she's walking, talking, and doing everything else that kid would do at her age.
Do you think the whole effort was worth it?
I think it was. I think it really was because, I mean, people think of it in different ways. People think it was for just oil. Some people think it for other things, but I think we went out there and we showed that not just one country can go out and be a bully to their neighbors and stuff like this and cause trouble where Saddam Hussein was a problem, and as you saw on TV, what he could do when he has the motivation.
What do you think the future will hold for that Iraqi leader?
I hope the people of Iraq decide that he's the wrong person to be in that job, and hopefully they push him out, move him out, whatever way they can do to get him out. Otherwise, I see that country in a lot of trouble.
But you think the U.S. should continue to have a presence there in the Gulf?
Maybe not the U.S., but have the U.S. supporting, maybe advising-wise. But I think the area, the Gulf states and stuff, should be make up their own force and keep it that way. Because being over there, I found out that a lot of the Arab countries look at us differently. And if you got an Arab country with an Arab support group, as they want to have in the Gulf, it's more neighborly that way than having some outsider come in and control everything.
Well, thank you for contributing to the U.S. effort, Ken. Really appreciate it. Glad to have you home. Back to you, Sue.
Thanks very much, Sarah. We're about ready to close out here and go back to our programming, which is we'll be joining it back in progress, CBS This Morning. Just be following us through the day if you want to see more of this. The programming will be changing depending on the events here at the base. We will be continuing to bring you live coverage. We believe that the next time a plane will be coming in will be at 12:30 this afternoon, and we'll be here to capture that for you and have another live report. In the meantime, there's very little else to say except that this is a great scene here. The west gate is open, and they're expecting more and more people to come through the gate. Certainly, you're welcome to come. As I say, we'll be back at about 12:30. We hope you'll join us then. I believe it's the Limestone High School band that you're listening to back there playing. And now I believe that Ed Walsh is ready for another, or Sarah Dyer, excuse me, is down on the floor ready for another interview. Sarah?
We got the bands continue to play to welcome home all the soldiers from Loring. And with me now is Base Commander Colonel Frank Salat. Tell me, what are your thoughts on this thing?
Well, Sarah, thank you for asking. I have a number of thoughts. First off, the thought occurs to me that we're all very opinionated as to what the media should do. And quite frankly, I'm very pleased that you're giving us the chance to be a conduit to the rest of the nation on our good feelings about our people as they come home. And I think that's a very valuable service, and I appreciate that. Number two, I have a bit of a rebluing feeling in my own mind. I get choked up a little bit as I watch some of our own people come back through the portal right over here, and the wives and the families reuniting, and I get a little choked up. You know, guys aren't supposed to do that, but I got a little choked up. And number three, I think many of our Army folks are coming through Loring right now. The guys and girls that were on the front that actually faced off against the enemy. And I feel, again, just a little bit re-blued, extremely proud to be a part of the military and be a part of what's going on in the world today. So those are some of the thoughts that are going through my mind, and I think through many of the minds of the folks here at Loring Air Force Base.
I would have to say, needless to say, the morale is very high today.
Absolutely high, very high. And there's no better time to be a part of the military than when you're welcoming home the heroes.
Thank you very much, Colonel Slot.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Sue.
And that's what we're looking forward to now, welcoming home the heroes. Still looking behind us here, or I guess you're looking in front to see all the folks that have gathered. Yeah, a good 1,000 people, I'm sure, 1,000 plus, waiting to see their loved ones come through the door on the other side, which they'll be able to see through these television monitors. Everyone very anxious. And again, not only family and friends, but also a number of people just wanting to show their support.
Wow, 20.
Looks like we're going to be able to see more than one arrival. We thought that the next B-52 flight was going to be at 12:45. Instead, they tell us it's going to be at 12:20. So we should be able to see some of the crews coming in, and you'll be able to detect them. They're wearing their flight suits, so they'll be coming through hopefully in the next 20-25 minutes or so. Touching down once again, but the families are not able to see as they come in, or at least be reunited at that point. Apparently, some of the B-52 families have been taken out near the flight line so that they can see the planes coming in. These are for B-52s only, not for the C-141s. They're going to be able to see their loved ones, their husbands and sweethearts' planes come back in, and then they're going to be bused back here to the D.C. hangar and still go through the same ordeal that everyone else has to go through with customs, and then they'll be reunited once again. These are the faces that you're seeing. Lots and lots of kids who've been separated from their moms and dads for quite some time, and it's going to be a neat reuniting point here that everyone's been waiting for. A lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement. And now we'll go back down onto the floor where Ed Walsh is ready with an interview. Ed?
Sue, I'm here now with Christy Herron. Her husband, Staff Sergeant Guy Herron, has been deployed since January. And what's interesting is at the time of the deployment, Christy and Guy were still newlyweds.
Yes.
And you said they pulled him right out of the library.
They pulled him right out of the library and gave him 24 hours notice only. So it was like he called me at work and he said, I have something, I don't know how to tell you this, but he says, I'm being deployed and I'm being deployed tomorrow. And the funniest thing about the whole thing was, and he said he had bad news, I thought it was the car because his car had not worked that morning. So I figured it was that, but it wasn't. He said, I got to be deployed and I got to go tomorrow. So.
But you don't even know if he's going to be on any of these flights coming in today.
I do not know if he's on a flight today. I don't expect it, but I am uncertain. But I'm here to support all the other troops because I feel they all deserve a welcome, a real good one, because they all fought well and they all deserve a real big welcome to come back to.
Christy, thank you very much. Sue, back to you.
Thanks very much, Ed. As I said before, that's just the point. A lot of people are here just to show their support, and that's the kind of community this is. I'm real proud to be a part of it. I can see that people here are supporting everyone. People in the military who were left back home to do their job, people who were sent overseas to give them a big hero's welcome as they come in. We expect them very quickly. We're going to hear an announcement here. Hold on. Right now, they are inviting all the B-52 families, people who are related to B-52 crew members, to get onto a bus to be taken near the flight line where they're going to be able to see the B-52s coming in, and then they'll be bused back here for their reuniting. Lots of red, white, and blue here today. Certainly a lot of yellow, too. Yellow ribbons in everyone's hair and festooned on lapels, and lots of signs welcoming home individuals as well as groups of people. A lot of anxious faces here. And now I think we're going to go back down onto the floor where Sarah Dyer is ready with an interview. Sarah?
Here's some of the younger generation waiting for someone to return. You have an uncle, Dane Wilcox, waiting to return. What are you guys, are you anxious for him to come back?
Yes, we're very anxious to see him back.
What have you been doing in the time that he's been gone?
We writing letters, writing cards.
Have you been doing school projects and stuff?
Yes.
Like what?
Writing letters to him and making posters and
You're Aaron Smith, and he's your uncle too, right? Okay. Well, what else? So you have a connection to the war, maybe like a lot of kids in the area, is that right?
Yeah.
What's that connection? How does it make you feel?
We feel that everybody over there, they're doing the right thing, and we support the war.
Are you proud of your uncle?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. We're proud of their uncle, too, and we hope he's on this flight waiting to greet his nephew and nieces, okay? Back to you, Sue.
You're in Boston.
Proud to be a part of it. And we want to make sure that throughout the day we're going to be breaking into programming for you to make sure that we give you all the sights and sounds of this Heroes Return Home, a return with open arms, and that's the name of this project, Project Open Arms. We're waiting now. I do see that a door is open back there, but I haven't seen anybody walk through it yet. And I believe that we're going to have our first people walking through now. Hoop it up. They're starting to come through the back now, a real slow trickle at first, but they're going to start pouring in.
With that camera.
They're here. They're here. Remember, on the other side of this barricade, they can't see what's awaiting them, but they can see the red, white, and blue, and they can hear the crowd. But as soon as they come through, I think they're going to be surprised to see the size of this crowd. They're checking their papers through right at the very beginning of the door, and now we're having some announcements as the men come filing through. Each one being announced singly.
Back towards me a little bit.
Now with Chief Master Sergeant Ron Broder and his wife Betty. Ron, how does it feel to be back on American soil?
It's great. I haven't caught my breath yet. Still working on that, but it's good to be home and great welcome. It's beautiful to see all the people that have been supporting us for the last 7 months here.
Daddy!
And the base people, folks down in Caribou and Presque Isle and Limestone and all those other places. And it's been great to have this kind of support. And I think probably a lot of our heroes right now are the wives that have been sitting back here waiting for us and holding things together. So glad to be back.
Betty, what are your feelings about being a hero?
I don't know about hero. I'm just glad he's back.
Ron, I also understand that you were a Vietnam veteran. What is the difference you see in the welcomes when you came back from Vietnam and coming back from this one?
Well, I came back from Vietnam 3 times. This is the first welcome I've ever gotten back. So I think that's the difference. I think I had a purpose in Vietnam. I knew what it was, but a lot of people didn't, and it wasn't supported. We had a lot of good leadership for this war, obviously, and the president let the colonels and the generals do the job the way they needed to get it done. And we got it done, and we won. And I think that was great. And I'd say that just thanks to all of the spouses, supporters, even all of our few war protesters that we had. I guess they wouldn't have a chance to protest if it wasn't for people like us.
Ron, thank you very much. Betty, thank you, and enjoy the snowstorm. Must be a change.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks very much, Ed. This is the kind of welcome everyone deserves who had any kind of an effort, who contributed to this war effort. And we're going to be here throughout the day, at least into the afternoon, to show you the returning triumphant soldiers. And in just a few minutes, we're going to have a B-52 coming in, and we won't be able to see that for just a few minutes, but we'll be getting some tape for you and bringing it back to you, and then we will get the crews as they come in live. And I believe that we are ready for an interview on the floor with Sarah Dyer.
The story's right here in your eye.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be back.
Oh, I love you.
Big difference. I don't know what to say. It's great to be back. Didn't think it would ever happen. There's a lot of boys still over there that need to come home. We need to keep doing this until they all get back.
How important is this kind of homecoming to you?
Oh, it's very important. You don't know what to expect when you come back, and this is more than anybody could ever hope for.
Were you nervous or concerned at the time when you heard Americans were protesting and supporting, mostly supporting?
We were very nervous. All we saw on TV was everybody protesting. Nobody heard anything good until we started doing something, and then we started everything good, and that really helped us.
What's your name, if you would?
Excuse me?
What's your name?
Ron Sassby, and this is my wife, Shelley.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back here. All of this live, of course. There's still a lot of them. 104 or 6 people have not come off the plane yet, or have not come through on the buses yet, so we still have a few more to unload. Each man looking frantically for some familiar faces as they come through this crowd. What a mob scene. Probably hard to pick out families, but they seem to be connecting pretty easily here. Hardly a dry eye in the place. And now we're ready for another interview on the floor. Here's Ed Walsh.
Sue, I'm standing here now with the Shanahan family. Tech Sergeant Kevin Shanahan has just returned from his participation in Desert Storm and Desert Shield. How's it feel to have him home?
Oh, great. I'm shaking. I'm shaking. I don't know how to act. Kids are real excited. Couldn't wait to see their dad.
Kevin, how long have you been gone for?
7 months today.
And what's it feel like to leave the sand and come to the snow?
The snow's unreal. We're blinded by the light, you know. It's totally different, but unbelievable trip. It took 30 some odd hours to get home. It's just unbelievable. Right now with all this, I'm vibrating.
Kevin, what was your job over there?
I'm an aircraft mechanic on a B-52.
And the morale of the crew of the B-52s during the bombing raids?
Excellent, really impressive. We just did a heck of a job. It was unreal. Everybody's very professional and proud.
Were you able to monitor the situation through any of the media while over there?
No, most of it was rumors, and occasionally we got some Stars and Stripes newspaper, and once in a while we got the news, CNN, a little bit.
Well, Kevin, welcome home, and congratulations, and we're glad to have you back.
Thanks very much, Ed. We're still seeing the rush of people come through customs. They're not taking very long. They're just moving them right out through. I have noticed that on the other side of this barrier here, you're going to notice a person or two coming through in a flight suit. I'm not quite sure if that means that they might be the crew of the cargo plane. There comes one as we speak. And they're still filing in through the back. Again, about 104, 106 people coming in on this flight, as in all of them, all the C-141 flights. And we expect the next C-141 will only be coming in, we understand, at midnight. So it's going to be a while before there's another big crush of a crowd. But we do understand that the B-52s have come in. There were supposed to be 2 B-52s coming in at 12:20. And they will be coming in shortly as soon as they rouse them onto the bus and get them here to the DC hangar.
We got one that can wait. Made out of rubber. There you go.
And I think we're ready for another interview down on the floor with Sarah Dyer.
Is this a happy family or what?
This is definitely a happy family. It's really good to be home, really is. Good to see the wife and the kid again and everything. It's been a long time.
Great. Great, but crying happy here. Nice to have them home. How long were you gone?
About 7 months. About 7 months.
What's your name?
It's Richard Morrison.
Can you tell us how the frustrations of being a military wife are over for now?
Oh, yes. This is great. No more siblings, no. This is fantastic.
Now I have to make up for all that lost work that I wasn't here to do. So.
How did you cope while he was gone?
Real good. He's real supportive. I got real encouraging letters and things like that. And he's always helped me be independent, so that helped a lot, too.
And how did you cope while you were gone? How did you cope with the loneliness?
Well, it is hard, but being in the military, you know, there's been times before where I've had to be gone for a long period of time when I was overseas. So, you know, it's been, another time that, I've been away from the house. So, I'm pretty used to that,
Thank you for a job well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Only a few more people kind of trickling through the back end here. Again, each one being welcomed singly as they come through, their names being announced, and a color guard salute.
Behind you.
This is probably the biggest crowd that we've seen here all day today. Probably the time of day is pretty conducive to getting a lot of people out. Well over 1,500 people, I'd say, here now. And now we're ready to go back down onto the floor with Sarah Dyer.
Sergeant Paul Ruggiero is back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Tell us your unique story that you have.
It's been a long one. We left on the 18th, and it's been a long time coming home, and I'm so glad to be home.
Tell us, there's a unique twist to your story, though. Wasn't there? You're married, and your wife's situation, you went over, deployed to the Middle East together, and then what happened?
Yeah, she was sent there, but where we were sent, military couples weren't allowed together. So she was home for 5 months, and then they redeployed her. And I'm happy to hear that she'll be home the 15th.
So you're going to come greet her here, huh?
Yeah, you bet.
All right. Dave McIntyre, this is your brother. How does it feel to have him home?
Oh, I'm just ecstatic. I love the guy to death. I'm so proud of him. I could just go crazy. I love him so much.
And you're proud of him. And your mother's here too. And you traveled up from where?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Good long trip.
Oh yeah.
Worth it?
Oh yes. Every minute of the way.
Proud of your son.
I sure am. Sure am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sarah. information as we're coming through, trying to hear the loudspeaker here and report to you at the same time. We're just going to let you take a look at the crowd here.
Did you notice that?
Yeah. You can almost pick out in the crowd who has just arrived, most of them with cans, coming from a much warmer climate than here. But I understand the snow looks pretty good to them today just to be home. We've been waiting for this scene for a long, long time. Again, we understand that B-52s, two B-52s landed at about 12:20, almost 10 minutes ago, not quite 10 minutes ago. And we hope that they're going to be arriving shortly. People are afraid to go too far. They want to make sure to be here to greet the B-52 crews. Again, only talking about somewhere between 12 and 20 people. The planes usually carry a crew of 6, but they can bring as many as 10 on board. So there will be about 12 to 20 people coming into the DC hangar shortly. I think what we're going to do is take a break at this point and then try to come back to you as soon as the B-52 crews come back through the door. And until then, we'll break right now, and then we'll come back just as soon as they come through. So we're going to break into programming off and on throughout the afternoon. We think that this story is as important as anything else that you might be watching on TV today. So we're going to be breaking into the sports programming. But at this point, let's break away. We will be back, and let's turn you over at this point to CBS Sports. 5 of them came in back to back, and we expect the crews to be coming in the door here pretty soon. In the meantime, the crowd is swollen once again to take care of all these people who are coming in. 6 to 10 members on board each B-52. These are the bombers that did the job over in the Middle East. Now we're going to go down onto the floor where I believe Sarah Dyer is ready with an interview down there. Sarah?
So we're here with some of the people who are waiting for their loved ones to return, and we've seen lots of red, white, and blue all over the place, and lots of unique messages like, who's the butthead you're welcoming home?
My brother, Carl Gramlich.
Now, is that a nice thing to call someone who's been away supporting a war effort?
I think he'll appreciate it a lot. He's different. I think he'll love seeing this. It'll really make his day.
So this is a brother-sister thing.
It's definitely a brother-sister thing. It means love to us, so he's really going to enjoy it, I think.
It's a good, unique way to show it. So how long has he been gone?
He left August 15th, so he's been gone the whole time.
And what's his name?
Carl. His last name? Gramlich. Captain Carl Gramlich.
And what's his job on a B-52?
He's the co-pilot.
Welcome him home. Any special plans when he gets home?
I'm sure he's going to want a nice cold beer and just to relax and have a good time.
Okay, we'll let you buttheads have a good time together then. All right, back to you, Sue.
Thanks very much, Sarah. I keep looking over my shoulder here, waiting to see the door open and see the first crews come in. We're still waiting to see them come in as we speak. The color guard isn't lined up yet, so I take that to mean that we're not quite ready yet. But I do see some movement out there by the door. Just waiting to see what else is going to happen next here. There's a lot of anxious families waiting for these guys. Whoop it up, everybody, they're here. Now remember, they're only going to come in a few at a time. They're only going to come in a few at a time. There's only 6 or 10 per, and you're seeing them on your screens right now. So we're looking at probably about 30 to 40 people coming in if they loaded up the plane completely. Depends on whether or not they did that. You're going to be noticing that they're wearing flight suits, as opposed to the camos that you've seen walk by all day today. We expect to have them all walking through here pretty quickly. You can see that they're not carrying their bags this time. That means somebody's picking them up for them, and they'll probably be picking them up in just a little while. Apparently they're doing all their customs and everything on board the plane. Okay, there they are, and they're about ready to come through. I think we're going to let the pictures do the talking here.
Oh, that's a good thing. I've been taking it all day. We have tried to
Most of these men have been away for 7 months now. Some of the first to be deployed around August 11th. And it has been a long wait for these folks. As we watch this, I'll let you know that I see another bus pulling up, and one by one these folks will be coming through. Each one getting a special announcement of their name as they go through, and a salute by the color guard. I hear the Air Force theme being played in the background. I've got a lot of wives looking up to me saying, is my husband on the other side yet? On the other side of this customs barrier. And they're coming in pretty slow. Remember, there's only about 6 per crew, perhaps up to 10. They can carry a group of up to 10. And there were 5 planes that touched down at 12:20. They do their own checklist. That's why it's taken a little bit longer to get them through here. More folks coming through wearing their really warm weather gear, or their cold weather gear, I should say. The great big muckluck kind of jackets. They've got a lot of readjusting to do after being in Southeast Asia here for quite some time. Quite a change to make. Come back to northern Maine. They all seem pretty happy to do it, though. And you see them trickling in here through the back. We want to make sure to be here live and not break back into programming just yet. We will go back to CBS Sports as soon as we have welcomed all these crew members back. About 30 or so in all. And we're going to be going down onto the floor now. Not quite yet. Not quite yet for an interview. We'll wait just a moment and see if we're going to have another bus pull up. I think we do have some pictures of the B-52s as they came in at about 12:20. We have a little bit of footage. We were allowed to go out onto the flight line in a bus along with the rest of the and here we go. There it is. There's our video. We had to shoot this from inside the bus. Kind of nice to see these planes coming back. There was a lot of talk as to whether or not they would ever even come back. You got to remember, these planes are somewhere between 30, 35 years old. Many of the planes older than the men who fly them. And it's kind of nice to see them coming down back home. B-52s, by the way, they got their first one. The Strategic Air Command received their first B-52 back in June of '55. And these are B-52Gs coming in. Strategic Air Command currently has about 250 of these aircraft still in the arsenal. These are both B-52Gs and B-52Hs, 250 in all. And as you may know, B-52s were designed as a nuclear bomber, but they had a conventional role over at Desert Storm. And now I guess we're going to go onto the floor with Ed Walsh. Ed?
Stu, I'm joined now by Frances Donnell of the Family Support Center. Frances, now that the crews are returning from Desert Storm, what are some of the services that you will offer?
Well, the Family Support Center, in cooperation with the base chapel, have already developed a packet that was given to all of the crews and the waiting spouses, made available to them, outlining some of the general information that of some of the things that they might expect during this reunion time, such as adjustments to relationships, changes at home, changes in the children, and so forth. The normal readjustment period will take between 6 to 8 weeks, and during that time we'll be offering support programs on an individual basis or in a group basis. We'll also continue our 24-hour hotline that we started at the beginning of the deployment, and also the base chapel will be available to assist people as necessary, and the individual squadrons.
Frances, I know you want to get back and welcome some more crews in. Thank you very much for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Sue, I did learn that some of the returning crews will be given 3 days off, then they'll be asked to report back to the base. At that time, they'll be given a 30-day leave, which I understand will be up to the crews to decide whether or not they want to take that 30-day leave. But they will have some vacation time coming to them after spending more than 6 months in Operations Desert Storm and Desert Shield. Sue?
Thanks very much, Ed. Certainly some time off well-deserved there, and I'm sure that most of them will want to take off some time just to help make that readjustment that we heard about that they're going to have to get ready for. Right now, people are still in anticipation. We've only had, I believe, one B-52 crew come through. We're looking for some more now. They should be coming through fairly quickly. Color guard standing, waiting for the next wave. As we said, 5 of them just came in at about 12:20. We do expect to have, I believe, one more coming in at 2:03 this afternoon, and we'll be here to bring you that. 3 other B-52s are expected to come in just shortly before 5 o'clock, 4:56, says the Air Force. They have been coming in a little bit ahead of schedule, which is kind of a nice surprise. Most of the families have been standing by, been ready to take this news, that's for sure. We'd rather hear that they're going to be earlier as opposed to later. And so far, the snow apparently hasn't caused too much of a problem. They've certainly come in okay, and it was kind of nice to see the footage just a couple of minutes ago of those B-52s coming in, looking real pretty. We're going to be watching and waiting now. You can tell who the B-52 crew members are. You'll be noticing they're in green flight suits as opposed to all the rest of the camo colored outfits we've been seeing here today. That's how you're going to be able to tell the difference here. You can pick them out pretty easily as they come through. The crowd not quite as big this time around. Obviously a lot fewer people coming in this time. About 30 as opposed to 106 or so on the last 2 flights. We're not expecting any more C-141s coming in until midnight tonight. So the big crush has come through, at least for today. We do understand the DC hangar is going to be opened up for people to come in and greet the crews. Again, we understand that C-141s will be coming in at midnight, at 12 o'clock, and then at 1 o'clock and at 3:15 a.m., all later on this morning. Unfortunately, we will not be here. WAGM will not be here to broadcast that to you live, but we do intend to keep touching base here and show you what you missed when we come back onto the 6 o'clock news tomorrow night. So anything that we don't go on live with today, you will be able to see tomorrow night on the newscast at 6. And during the AM report as well. Obviously, the story of the day here. Our other programming, sports, and all the other programming is kind of taking a back seat to all these pictures and faces. I think far better to be showing this local happy ending than anything else that we have to offer you today.
She's got a good view. Best view in the house.
Still awaiting the arrival of the rest of the crews. There's a familiar face. A lot of kids getting rides here today, trying to see up over this barrier. In case you're just joining us, this is a customs barrier that's between the families and the troops coming through on the other side. They do have to do a real quick customs check as they come into the country. Most of them have been pre-cleared on their aircraft, but they do have to make the one final check, hand in their papers, I guess, here on the other side of the barrier just before they come through to be greeted by their family and friends. A lot of anxious people out here. And I'm noticing the doors open up in the back one more time. We're here. Move it up. And these guys, once again, they can't see their loved ones just yet, but they sure can hear them. We've got more than one crew coming in here. Two or three at least.
They originally thought it was going to take them an hour to get through C-141.
Yeah, but they're going through pretty quickly.
About 15 minutes.
This is a tired bunch. We're not sure they had the same overnights that everyone else did on the C-141s. Remember, B-52s can be refueled in air and will keep going just as long as the crews can hold out. They're being briefed. Now you see a picture of them being briefed very quickly before they go through customs to get that job over with. And then it's quickly to meet their families. They're about to make some more announcements here, and we'll watch them come through the barrier one by one. Each man being announced as they come through the barrier. Hard to even get them through this door. The crowd's so enthusiastic. Some of the folks in the crowd here weren't sure if their loved ones are coming in on these flights. Communications has been tough, trying to find out exactly which crews are coming in. So we've got a lot of wives here not quite sure if they're going to be seeing their husbands today. And Sarah's ready down on the floor with a real quick interview. Go ahead, Sarah.
We're reuniting Monique Gramlich with her brother, Captain Carl Gramlich, and of course we showed you her shirt earlier. It's kind of unique. How do you like that, Carl?
How's it going?
How do you like the shirt?
Love it. I haven't seen it yet, though. But that would be me. Yeah.
This is our brother, sister.
Oh, yeah. This is it. She kept me. The support from home was what made it.
made it for 7 months. It was a long time, and my sister wrote, everyone wrote, and then all we watched the TV and we see all the support at home, and that just kept everyone going, keeping pumped up. So it was really good.
So tell us your position.
Co-pilot B-52.
So how was your combat experience in relation to your training?
Oh, well, the training really showed for the when we finally did go and do our job. You're as scared as you've ever been in your life, but you just focus yourself, you do what you have to do, and you got ground troops on the ground, and you got to hit your targets so they're not going to get hurt, and you're so proud when you're done, and your adrenaline rush is so amazing, you just can't describe it. You're just the proudest I've ever been, really.
All right, we're proud of you too. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, yeah.
And more to come. Thanks, Sarah. We just have another crew walking in. Can't quite make out any faces yet, but we do have some more welcomes to be had. A lot of anxious people here wondering whether or not their husbands are on this particular crew. You're welcome. And we have some more people to be coming through the barrier here. With Ed Walsh. Ed?
So I'm here now with the Bradley family, Major Paul Bradley, Captain Susie Bradley, and their daughter Leah Bradley. Major Bradley, welcome back, first of all. You are a pilot of a B-52. How's it feel to be back on American soil?
Great. It feels great. It's great to be back.
What type of schedule did you have during Desert Storm?
We were busy and flying an average of 12 sorties a day. So the crews flew a sortie, then they had about a day off, and then they flew the next day's sortie. And that day was crew rest to get ready to fly the next day's sortie. We launched 3 sorties a day, or 3 sorties in the morning, 3 sorties at about noontime, and 3 sorties again in the evening. And on some days, we surged up to 15 sorties a day. There were a lot of us that worked 24 to 48 hours at a time to get everything off the ground and running.
And what type of morale was there over there?
The morale for the Loring crews and the Castle crews, the Eaker crews that joined us was excellent at the base that we were at. We had excellent morale.
Now, we understand that there was a B-52 that did have some type of mechanical problem that did crash into the Indian Ocean with a crew, though, from Eakers Air Force Base. That must have had some type of effect on the crew.
It did have a short effect on us. The problem with the airplane, we believe, to have been mechanical, and for a little while it dampened spirits. It's always a loss to everybody to see someone go, especially when you know them and you work with them a little bit. But because the war, we happened right in the middle of the war, and because of the war pressing on, we had to press on and continue with the mission.
Susie, how does it feel to have him home?
Oh, it feels great.
When was the last time you saw him?
I was lucky. I saw him a couple months ago because he had to come home for a little bit of surgery. So I'm luckier than a lot of people were, but it's good to know I've got a husband permanently.
And Leah, how does it feel to have Dad home?
I love it. I'm so happy that he's home.
Well, we'll let you get back to your celebrating, and we thank you for being with us this afternoon. Thank you. Sue, back to you.
Thanks, Ed. We still have a few more people here to be announced, and they're going to be coming through the barrier in just a couple of seconds. Here they come. Okay, we're going to go back down on the floor now, where Sarah Dyer has a beautiful-looking family over there.
We're here with the Captain Sam Ramsey family, Debbie wife, and 4 children. How are you? Happy to see your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed him, huh? Mm-hmm. Hey, how's it feel to be home?
Feels great. Great.
You were an aircraft commander on a B-52.
Yeah.
Tell us what your experience was. What can you tell us about your experience over there?
No, we flew a lot, worked real hard, and everything seemed to click. It was the best part was just seeing that it all worked out in the end for the ground troops.
Well, that's it. You paved the way for them to finish the job, so to speak. Can you tell us about a typical bomb run that you did?
Typically, there were no real typical bomb runs. Sometimes we'd have threats like AAA or missiles. Sometimes we wouldn't have any. But for the most part, we were well prepared. The training all paid off, and everything worked out great. And we got through it unscathed. Nothing ever touched us.
Now, most people consider the B-52, when they think of the B-52 bomber, they think of it way up, miles in the sky, dropping things. Is that what your experience? What your experience was?
With the exception of night 1. The first night we went low level and snuck in under the radar.
How did that bomber perform for you?
Very well. Performed very well. Right up to expectations.
Now, because Sue has noted that most of the bombers are older than most of the pilots and the people on board. Did you have any damage to that you could report to us? Let us know any low-flying damage that you experienced?
No, we weren't hit by anything. There was AAA in the area, but it never touched us.
Explain what AAA is?
Anti-aircraft fire.
Okay. Good to be home, though, huh?
Very good to be home.
Good to have you home. Thank you.
The one question left was just how long it took for these particular planes to be coming in. I'm not sure how long they've been flying, but I have a feeling it's been quite a long flight. It looks like, the least of the flights have been, of course, when you put it all together, 20-something hours. And I'm not sure if they went straight through and refueled, because obviously B-52s can do that. That's part of their great capability, is they can hang out just as long as the crews can. They can continue to be refueled in the air and just continue their mission. They obviously did a terrific job. All the training that they had prior to obviously paid off. And now we understand that the next B-52s to come in will be landing in about half an hour. At about 2:03, we'll be having one more B-52 coming through. And then shortly before 5 o'clock, we should be seeing 3 more come in. We do understand that we'll be getting all the planes back. I'm not sure if that means -1, since there was one lost in this conflict. That was not, of course, with a B-52 crew of ours at Loring Air Force Base, but we sure are glad to have them back here, and we'll be reporting more to you. I think that, I'm not sure if we're ready for another, I think we're going to be ready for another interview here just shortly. Yes, I think we are. Ed Walsh, take it away.
I'm here now with Captain Fred and his wife Sherry Tomaselli. Fred has been gone for about 7 months, deployed in Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm. And while he was gone, and now that he's back, he came back to a newborn daughter. Fred, how's it feel?
It feels great. Can't believe I'm finally back.
Sherry, how's it feel to have him home?
Words can't explain it. It's just exhilarating. Doesn't feel real at all.
It must have been difficult, though, to have him gone at the time of your daughter's birth.
Yes, it was very difficult, but luckily I had a lot of family members that lived down in southern Maine, so I had a lot of support, and I was very fortunate.
Fred, any good war stories to tell us?
Just that I got back. We got shot at plenty the first night and was in there for first hours, but it went better after that.
And what do you think of your welcome home?
It was great, a real surprise.
Fred and Sherry, thank you very much, and welcome home. Sue, back to you.
Thanks very much, Ed. We're going to wrap up here, leave you with some pictures, of course, before we leave. But we want to let you know that we will be back shortly after 2 o'clock when we bring you one more B-52 flight coming in. After that, we'll be putting everything on tape for you so that you won't be missing a thing. You'll be seeing it on the news tomorrow morning as well as tomorrow evening. And for now, we're just going to leave you with some of the pictures for a couple of minutes here. Take a look at these. We're going to break back into programming, CBS Sports. And again, we'll be back with you sometime after 2 o'clock.
We now return to our regularly scheduled program. This has been a live presentation of Project Open Arms. This special report is brought to you by WAGM TV8 and the following Aroostook County merchants.
We have already had 6 different Loring Air Force Base crews, and here's one more. This crew, by the way, of B-52 members, they were down at Langley Air Force Base earlier today where they were greeted by the President and praised for all their work that they did during Desert Storm. B-52s were congratulated down at Langley Air Force Base, I should say, by the President and General Schwarzkopf, saying these were the real heroes of Desert Storm. When they went down to Langley Air Force Base, all of the families were alerted that that's what was going to happen, and the families were reunited. At least the wives were flown down to Langley Air Force Base so that they could greet their husbands. But many of the families, the children, mothers and fathers and other extended family members were not there to be able to greet them. So they are now getting their full welcome that they so richly deserve. And now we're going to, we're not quite ready yet, we're going to have Sarah talk with Colonel Jorgensen to take a look at what all the rest of the schedule goes for the rest of the B-52s, which we will be capturing on film for you and showing you later on tomorrow for the AM report and also the 6 o'clock report tomorrow. Sarah, I believe you're ready.
We're here for one final word from Colonel Alvin Jorgensen, Vice Wing Commander. Can you tell us the B-52 return schedule for the rest of the week?
Right now, it appears that we're going to have about 6 come back on Tuesday, 6 on Wednesday, and another 2 on Thursday.
And then tell us about the tankers, too.
Well, right now, we've got one tanker that's due in here in about another 30 minutes or so. And for the most part, our tankers we expect will probably be back a little later in the month because they'll still be working to help refuel aircraft as they come back from the Middle East.
And that will probably be the total deployment left behind. Do you have a number for how many?
No, as far as tankers that are still deployed, we have about, I guess about 10.
And is that Diego Garcia and elsewhere?
That's all, yes, that's correct.
Okay. Tell us about any, is the base planning any special commendation or recognition for the people who were involved?
Well, our initial thrust right now was to make sure they had a really great welcome when they came back, got the families out. And yes, we've had several inquiries from the surrounding communities, and we want to do something to bring all those folks out here one more time to help us recognize them and them to recognize our warriors that are returning. So something will be going on probably in the early April time frame.
Okay, what about some kind of medals, letters of commendation, anything of that nature?
Well, I'm certain that there are a number of medals that were won by our folks over there. Of course, that will be handled by the deployed wing commander, which was our wing commander, Colonel Burke. And so when he gets back here, I'm sure that the number of decorations will be submitted for our warriors that are returning.
And number one, that depends on how many missions they flew and things of that nature?
Basically, yes. Most of these men, I'm sure, will have qualified for the Distinguished Airman's Medal, and that will probably be awarded to them within a month and a half time frame.
And as far as a public and a base celebration, that's in the works?
That's in the works. We're going to work very hard to do that as soon as we get everybody back, and we expect that to be by the end of the week. We'll start really firmly planning that.
Thank you very much, Colonel.
My pleasure.
Operation Open Arms is underway, and Ed has one final reunion for us, I think. Ed?
I'm here with the Yates family, Captain Rod Yates and his wife, Jeanette. Captain Yates, welcome back. I know you have seen your family already. What are your feelings today to be back at Loring Air Force Base?
I'm elated. The snow is cold, but it's pretty nice to be here.
What can you tell us about what you were doing while you were deployed in Operation Desert Storm?
It all worked. It worked just as advertised. We were set with the task of taking on a 500,000-man army. As you all know, the casualties were very, very low.
And I attribute that to a couple of things. First, the grace of God, because you don't get results like that on your own. And the second thing is the superb results in the air war, of which the B-52 was part of. And there were instances where we dropped hundreds and hundreds of bombs, and all of them on given strikes hit right in the box. And it was all just a splendid thing.
Now, Jeanette, I know that you've already seen Rod. How does it feel to finally have him back on home tour?
I can't wait to show him our new house. He hasn't been in it yet, so I'm looking forward to taking him home for the first time to our new house.
I want to thank you all for being with us this afternoon. I'd just like to tell everyone that the Yates family, they're sort of famous in their own right. They've been seen on all the national networks from meeting at Langley Air Force Base, and their pictures have been seen on most national newspapers, the front page. And so they come back with their own little story. Thank you for being with us. Back to you, Sue.
Thanks very much, Ed. Just a couple of real quick notes. Some big rave reviews here and rave hellos for everybody coming back. One little note here. Mapleton Packer, called Triple S Packers out of Mapleton, donated 500 5-pound bags of potatoes to each and every man who came through here today. Just kind of a taste of home, a quick taste of home as they get back here. A real nice thing to see. What a welcome for everybody here today, and we sure hope that this is going to continue throughout the evening. Now, we do understand that most of the crews are through, as Sarah had mentioned to you. We will be getting more very late into the evening and throughout the week, and the news will be there live, not necessarily live, but we will get these crews for you as they come in and put them on the news for you at 6, 11, and also in the AM. So we hope that you'll be able to join us then, and we thank you very much for all your indulgence today, breaking into programming because we thought this was so important. We want to thank our fine sponsors and, of course, all the people at Loring Air Force Base for making this possible for us. We'd like to thank all the officials. Again, from Loring Air Force Base, the D.C. hangar, and a lot of really happy people here today, this is Sue Bernard signing out for now.